A group of people wanted to belong, the door of a door, a legacy that has been passed along. And so these families began to build their dream, the sacred Jewish home of Chanutzim.
Guided by our past, we learn and teach and grow our tree of life, Tikkun Olam. We're not afraid to stand for what is right, planting the seeds to build a strong identity, loving kindness, justice, and community. I am Sinai, welcoming, loving Sinai, roots and tradition for the Jewish life's our mission, a shining light for me. That's why I'm Sinai, growing together, Sinai, found my connection. We're more than a congregation, we're a family. Standing here today, we know the journey's only just begun. Anive Atah, we build our future here with everyone. Join us to celebrate what's been and what will be. Together we'll make Jewish memories. I am Sinai, welcoming, loving Sinai, roots and tradition for the Jewish life's our mission, shining light for me. That's why I'm Sinai, growing together, Sinai,
Shabbat Shalom. Yes, Bonnie, it's nice to have you back. So it's good whenever we come together. Big event last night. It was wonderful. So many congregants coming together. It feels like people are finally coming home. So we welcome Shabbat accompanied by God's angels. Shalom Aleichem, page 128.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malchei Amlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Boachem LeShalom, Malachei Shalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malchei Amlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Baruchuni LeShalom, Malachei Shalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malchei Amlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Tzedchem LeShalom, Malachei Shalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malchei Amlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
Turn back one page, page 127. There are days when we seek things for ourselves and measure failure by what we do not gain. On Shabbat, we seek not to acquire, but to share. There are days when we exploit nature as if it were a horn of plenty that can never be exhausted. On Shabbat, we stand in wonder before the mystery of creation. There are days when we act as if we cared nothing for the rights of others. On Shabbat, we remember that justice is our duty and a better world our goal. So we embrace Shabbat, day of rest, day of wonder, day of peace. We welcome the Shabbat bride, page 138, Dade.
לך נודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה.
שמור וזכור בדיבור אחד, השמיענו אל המיוחד, אדוני אחד ושמו אחד, לשם ותפארת ולתחילה.
לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לקראת שבת לכו ונלכה, כי מקור הברכה מראש מקדם נסוכה, סוף מעשה ומקשה בתחילה. Together. לך דודי, לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה.
התעוררי, כי באורך קומי אורי, 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 שיר דברי, כבוד אדוני עלייך נגמר.
לך דודי, לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה.
We rise, we turn to the door, we welcome the Shabbat bride.
בואי בשלום עטרת בלה, כאן בשמחה ובצולה, תוך אמוני עם סגולה. בואי כלה, בואי כלה, לך דודי, לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה.
Tov lehodot Adonai, it is good to give thanks to God, page 140.
טוב להודות לאדוני, טוב להודות לאדוני, ולזמר לשמך עליון. טוב להודות לאדוני, טוב להודות לאדוני, ולזמר לשמך עליון. בהנגיל בבוקר, בבוקר חסדך, אמונתך בלילות. בהגיד בבוקר חסדך, אמונתך בלינון. טוב להודות לאדוני, טוב להודות לאדוני, ולזמר לשמך עליון. טוב להודות לאדוני, טוב להודות לאדוני, ולזמר לשמך עליון.
We welcome Shabbat with the lighting of candles. It's nice to invite Bonnie Bloom and Linda Lakshin to light candles in memory of their own mothers. Tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat. Amen. We rise for Baruch Hu. Page 146. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Leolam Vaed. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Leolam Vaed. Yalalai Dalalai Dai Dai. Yalalai Dalalai Dai. Yalalai Dai 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 Dai. Yalalai Dalalai Dai Dai. Yalalai Dalalai Dai Dai. Yalalai Dalalai Dai Dai. Yalalai Dai 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 Dai. Yalalai Dalalai Dai Dai. Page 148. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, ruler of the universe, who speaks the evening into being, skillfully opens the gates and thoughtfully alters the time and changes the seasons, and arranges the stars in their heavenly courses according to plan. You are creator of day and night, rolling light away from darkness and darkness from light, transforming day into night and distinguishing one from the other. Adonai Tsevaot is your name. Ever-living God, may you reign continually over us into eternity. Blessed are you, Adonai, who brings on evening.
Baruch atah Adonai amari v'arabim.
Everlasting love, you offered your people Israel by teaching us Torah and mitzvot, laws and precepts. Therefore, Adonai our God, when we lie down and when we rise up, we will meditate on your laws and your commandments. We will rejoice in your Torah forever. Day and night we will reflect on them, for they are our life, and doing them lengthens our days. Never remove your love from us. Praise to you, Adonai, who loves your people Israel.
Baruch atah Adonai ohev amo Yisrael. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. 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 Aru Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed.
You're welcome to be seated. Join together. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol lebavcha v'chol nafshecha u'b'chol me'otecha v'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi metzavecha hayom al levavecha Veshinantam levanecha, v'dibarta b'ham, v'shivtecha b'veitecha, u'v'lechtecha b'derech, u'v'shochbecha u'v'kumecha, u'keshartam le'ot al yadecha, v'hayu letotafot b'neinecha, u'chatavtam al mezuzot beitecha, Uvishadecha leman tiskiru va'asitem et kol mitzvotai veitem kedoshim lelohechem ani Adonai Elohechem asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim liot lachem lelohim Ani Adonai Elohechem. Adonai Elohechem Emet. Page 157. In a world torn by violence and pain, a world far from wholeness and peace, give us the courage to say, Adonai, there is one God in heaven and earth. The high heavens declare your glory. May earth reveal your justice and love. From bondage in Egypt we were delivered. At Sinai we bound ourselves to your way. Inspired by prophets and instructed by sages, time and again we overcame oppressive forces. Though our failings are many and our faults are great, it has been our glory to bear witness to our God, keeping alive in dark ages your vision of a world redeemed. Let us continue to work for the day when the nations will be one and at peace. Then shall we rejoice as Israel did, singing on the shores of the sea.
Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha Nedar b'kodesh, nora te'ino oseh felem malhutecha משה ומרים. צאלי ענו ואמרו אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. יאי לי 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 יאי דה 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 יאי דה 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 יאי דה 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 דה. ונאמר כי פנה את יעקב וגאל חזק ממנו, ברוך אתה אדוני גאל ישראל. Next page 160 at the bottom, we conclude this beautiful prayer of Hashkivenu with the words of peace. ופרוס עלינו סוכת שלומך, ופרוס עלינו סוכת שלומך, ברוך אתה אדוני הפורס סוכת שלום עלינו ועל כל עמו ישראל ועל ירושלים, אמן. ופרוס עלינו סוכת שלומך, ופרוס עלינו סוכת שלומך, ברוך אתה אדוני הפורס סוכת שלום עלינו ועל כל עמו ישראל ועל ירושלים, ועל ירושלים, ועל ירושלים, אמן.
People of Israel shall keep Shabbat, observing Shabbat in every generation as a covenant for all time. It is a sign forever between me and the people of Israel. For in 6 days the eternal God made heaven and earth, and on the seventh day God ceased from labor and rested.
Yay, lay, 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 lay. Yay, lay, 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 lay. Yay, lay, 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 lay. Yay, lay, 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 lay. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת, את דורותם ברית עולם. והניעו בין בני ישראל עוד דיני עולם, כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ. וביום השביעי, וביום השביעי, וביום השביעי, שבת באי נפש, לי, 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 לי.
We rise for Amidah, page 164.
אדוני שפתי תפתח ופי יגיד תהילתך. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו אלוהי אבותינו ואמותינו אלוהי אברהם אלוהי יצחק אלוהי יעקב אלוהי שרה אלוהי רבקה אלוהי רחל אלוהי לאה האל הגדול הגיבור והנורא אל עליון גומל חסדים טובים וקונה הכל וזוכר חסי אבות ואימהות ומביא גאולה לבני בניכם למען שמו באהבה מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן ברוך אתה אדוני מגן אברהם בעזרת שרה אתה גיבור עולם אדוני מחיה כל אתה רב להושיע מוריד הטל מכלכל חיים בחסד וחיי הכל ברחבים רבים סומך נופלים ברופא חולים ומתיר אסורים ומקיים אמונתו לישני עפר מי כמוך בעל גבורות ומי דומה לך מלך מביט ומחיה ומצמיח ישועה ונאמן אתה להחיות הכל ברוך אתה אדוני מחיה הכל אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש וקדושים בכל יום יללוך סלע ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש.
Be seated. May these hours of rest and renewal open our hearts to joy and our minds to truth. May all who struggle find rest on this day. May all who suffer find solace. May all who hurt find healing on this day. May all who despair find purpose. May all who hunger find fulfillment on this day, and may this day fulfill its promise. Praise be Adonai for Shabbat and its holiness.
Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh Shabbat.
Find favor, Adonai, our God, with your people Israel, and accept their prayer with love. May the worship of your people always be acceptable. God, who is near to all who call, turn lovingly to your servants. Pour out your Spirit upon us. Let our eyes behold your loving return to Zion. Blessed are you, Adonai, whose presence returns to Zion.
Baruch atah Adonai המחזיר שכינתו לציון מודים אנחנו לך.
God of goodness, we give thanks for the gift of life, wonder beyond words, for the awareness of soul, our light within, for the world around us, so filled with beauty, for the richness of earth, which day by day sustains us. For all these and more, we offer thanks. Blessed are you, Adonai. Your name is goodness, and you are worthy of thanksgiving.
Baruch atah Adonai atav shimcha ulechana elehodo. Shalom Rahav al Israel amcha sim leolam. Shalom Rahav al Israel amcha sim leolam. Ki ata melech Adon echol shalom. Ki ata melech Adon echol shalom. Shalom Rahav al Israel amcha sim leolam. וטוב בעיניך לברך את עמך ישראל בכל עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. שלום רב על ישראל עמך תשים לעולם. שלום רב על ישראל עמך תשים לעולם. תשים לעולם. תשים לעולם.
We add to the prayers of our Siddur, the prayers of our heart. We especially think about those who are in need of a prayer of healing, healing of the body, healing of the spirit. On this Shabbat, we are especially thinking about Judy Agron, Adam Beaumont, Osvaldo Barraza, Shelley Blum-Claire, Elliot Citron, Kathy Duchess, Eliyahu Ben Ruvain Miriam, Elka Rock, Susan Friedman, Rita Gold, Ed Johns, Mindy Elizabeth Jones, Susan Jones, Jack Lieb, Ken Levin, Maya Bat Devora, Joyce Ridenour, Mark Rockfeld, Shammai Ben Michael, Shaul Ben Moshe Verivka, Shoshana Devora Bat Chava, Barry Sugar, Mark Byron Singer, Rose Singer, Stuart Singer, Aryeh Tzvi Ben Sora, Rachel Bat Bracha, Kevin Webb. Mishaberach Avotenu Avraham Yitzhak v'Yaakov v'Imotenu Sarah Rivka Rachel v'Leah Hu Yavarech v'Yirapeh et Cholim Kodesh Baruch Hu Yamalei Rachamim Alehem L'Hachli Mam L'Rapotam L'Hachazikam L'Hachiotam V'Yishlach Bimheira Refuah Shlema Refuat HaNefesh U'Refuat HaGuf B'toch Shar Cholei Yisrael Hashta Ba'Galal V'Zman Kariv V'Nomar. We say Amen. Take a moment for silent personal prayer.
May the one who makes peace in the high heavens make peace for us, for all Israel, and for all who inhabit the earth. And we say, Amen. Page 180.
Oh, say shalom, shalom, bimbrama. Oh, say shalom, shalom, bimbroma. Oh, say shalom, shalom, bimbroma. Oh, say shalom, shalom, bimbroma. Hu yaseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu, Ve'al Kol Israel V'imru Amen. Hu Yaseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu, Ve'al Kol Yoshvei Tevel V'imru Amen.
Most mornings when I walk around the neighborhood, I listen to one of two podcasts, History This Week or History Today. Sometimes an event spurs a sermon in me, and this week did not disappoint. Hurricane Katrina, 17 years ago on Monday. The failed assassination of Lenin, 104 years ago on Tuesday. Lady Diana's death 25 years ago on Wednesday. Even the Great Fire of London 356 years ago today. But for some reason, the editors and journalists who create those two podcasts didn't deem the gathering of 208 formerly attired Jews in Basel, Switzerland on August 29th, 1897, exactly 125 years ago, as a worthy event to include this week. I will forgive them, although I might argue that they are overlooking an event that certainly changed Jewish history and in some way changed the world. I would even say that they have snubbed a fellow journalist. So, what was the occasion? The First Zionist Congress, the historic gathering of delegates that would create the movement known as political Zionism. And who was their fellow journalist? 37-year-old Theodor Herzl, who presided over the event in the concert hall of the Basel Municipal Casino. 3 days later, he reflected, "At Basel, I founded the Jewish state. If I said this out loud today, I would be greeted by universal laughter. In 5 years, perhaps, and certainly in 50 years, everyone will perceive it." His prediction that there would be a Jewish state in 50 years ranks as one of the most astute and uncanny political predictions of history. He was off by only 1 year. Unfortunately, Herzl would not live to see his dream and prediction come to fruition. He died 7 years later at the ripe old age of 44. In his new book, The Ark of a Covenant, The United States, Israel, and the Fate of the Jewish People, Walter Russell Mead makes it clear that Herzl's success was nothing short of a miracle. Why? Because it is hard to imagine few people less scripted for being a Jewish hero than Theodor Herzl. He was an assimilated Jew from Budapest, Hungary, who had once fantasized of leading all the Jews of Budapest to the baptismal font at St. Stephen's Cathedral. To quote Mead, "When his son was born in 1891, Theodor gave him the very German name of Hans and refused to have the boy circumcised. The Herzl family never darkened the synagogue doors. In the modern age opening up, Herzl was sure that the quaint Jewish folkways of the past were fated to disappear." What was it that moved this journalist and playwright to understand and embrace the fate of his people. Herzl was the Paris correspondent of the Neue Freie Press, if I mispronounced it, the New Free Press, a liberal-oriented and prestigious Viennese daily newspaper. He had gotten that job largely on the strength of his travel pieces. In 1894, he was in Paris to cover the trial of Captain Alfred Dreyfus, a Jew who had been accused of espionage and treason. Dreyfus was a product of one of Europe's oldest Jewish families. He also, himself, was an assimilated Jew. When Herzl was in Paris, he heard the crowds in the streets screaming, "Death to the Jews." That was enough to convince him that the Jews had no future in Europe and there had to be a place of safety and refuge. Again, Walter Mead. The golden dream of assimilation and acceptance had been, Herzl concluded, an illusion. His always active and theatrical imagination perceived a wave of hate slowly building in Europe, and then the distinguished and dapper journalist was seized by the conviction that unless the Jews could somehow escape, they faced mass murder and persecution on an unprecedented scale. Finding a way to avoid this fate became the dominant passion of the remaining 9 years of his short life. Herzl would transform himself into the leader of the national movement of the Jewish people. Herzl was right. The Jews would have no secure future in Europe. 50 years later, the Jews of his hometown, Budapest, would be deported to Auschwitz. Herzl's youngest daughter, Trudy, died in the Theresienstadt concentration camp in 1943. Herzl's personal life was tragic. He had a tortured relationship with his wife, Julie. He struggled with severe depression, a malady that he bequeathed to his children and grandchildren. 7 years after the Zionist Congress, Herzl was dead at the age of 44. And decades later, his remains would be moved and interred in the National Cemetery on the appropriately named Mount Herzl in Jerusalem. His grave overlooks a city and a land that has succeeded far beyond even what Herzl might have imagined. But paradoxically, for all his successes, Herzl also failed. Herzl failed to garner European Jewish support. In fact, in their eyes, Herzl was a laughingstock. Again, Mead. Assimilationist Jews spent enormous amounts of time convincing their Gentile associates that they were as French, as German, as British as everyone else. Now, here came Herr Herzl with his nonsensical talk of a Jewish state, and for the sake of this impossible dream, he would put at risk all the acceptance, all the trust that Jews across Europe had labored so long and so hard to win. Herzl was also a failure in that he couldn't raise money from the Jews. Herzl failed to gain the support of the press. The great Jewish newspapers of the day were almost uniformly anti-Zionist. Herzl failed to win the support of American Jews. Most American Jews were apathetic at best and hostile at worst towards the Zionist idea, and would be for decades. Most glaringly, Herzl failed to understand the Arabs of the land of Israel. He expected the Arabs of the land would flock to Zionism, seeing its advantages for the development of the land through Jewish immigration and therefore their own economic advancement. But as Mead wrote, the Jewish contribution to European culture, science, and economics had not earned them that much love. Why did Herzl think that it would work in the Middle East? So how did Herzl succeed? even with all of these failures? How was it possible that he had face-to-face meetings with the Kaiser of Germany, the Sultan of the Ottoman Empire, Pope Pius X, Prince Ferdinand of Bulgaria, King Victor Emmanuel of Italy, the colonial secretary of the British Empire, and many other leading statesmen of the day? It was the power of the idea. It was what sold Herzl to the crowned heads of Europe. Again, Mead wrote, "In country after country, case after case, Zionism intrigued, interested, and ultimately drew the support of powerful Gentile leaders, even as Jewish leaders often wanted nothing to do with it." Herzl got it right. European-style liberalism could not save the Jews. Enlightenment ideas could not save the Jews. Neither could international institutions, nor democracy, nor good intentions. No, said Herzl, only Jews themselves could save the Jews, and Judaism itself. I want to end with a reflection by my colleague and teacher, Rabbi Jeffrey Salkin, on what it meant to be Herzl. You never know who will become a Jewish hero. Certainly Herzl, an assimilated Jew, was not scripted for that role. Nowadays, people would have referred to him with that deeply problematic term, self-hating Jew. But then, let's remember that Moses himself was luxuriating in Pharaoh's palace until he saw a taskmaster beating a Hebrew slave, and that became his wake-up call. The lesson, even and sometimes especially, peripheral Jews can transform Judaism and Jewish life. You just never know. Which leads me to ask the question and reflect on this Shabbat. What are you doing to transform Judaism and Jewish life? We are going to pick up our prayers books again, page 586, Aleinu.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי ארצות, ולא שמענו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל עמונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ובודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, היום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד.
Our thoughts turn to those who are no longer with us, those who have given us the gift of memory. On this Shabbat, we are especially remembering Irene Miller, who died just this past week. We remember the yortzites of our congregant loved ones whom we have commemorated this past week. Norton Agron, Blanche Beener, Bernice Bloom, Marcos Duenas, Perry Epstein, Benjamin Goldstein, Irving Hirsch, Rabbi David J. Jacobs, Frida Friedman Cohn, Ruth Rosen, Simon E. Rubin, Marion Shear Schwinn, Henry Stern, Catherine Lehman Wiener. And we remember these, the yortzites of whom are found on our permanent memorial plaques here in the sanctuary and who are listed below. We remember them all. We join together for Kaddish Yatom, Mourner's Kaddish, page 598. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei rabbah, ve'alma divrach rutei v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayechon uvyomechon uvchaye dechol beit Yisrael, ba'galau uvizman kari v'imru, amen. Yehei shemei rabbah mevarach le'olam omomei omaya, Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei dekudashah v'richu, le'elam min kol birchata v'shirata, tush b'chata v'nechemata, da'milan be'alma v'imru. Amen. Yehei shlama rabbah min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav. Huya says shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, imru, amen. The source of peace, and peace to all who mourn, comfort to all who are bereaved. Together we say, amen. You may be seated. Once again, want to wish all of you a Shabbat Shalom. Say thank you to all of, well, first we'll say thank you to Sage Cantor for serving as our greeter, and thank you to Sage, who always throws a great party. She and everybody in Sisterhood, our back to shul night last night was just wonderful. Nice to be able to greet old friends and connect with people and meet new congregants and new people. Thank you to all of our service sponsors, to Rita Gold, to Marty and Lynn Mendelson, who sponsored in honor of their grandsons, Jordan and Dylan's birthdays. That's really nice. Irene Barros in memory of her brother, Rabbi David J. Jacobs, to Bonnie Bloom in memory of her beloved mother, Bernice, to Joshua, Kristen, Miles, and Roman Galembi, and of course Don and Linda Lokshin in memory of their mother, grandmother, great-grandmother, Irene Miller, Sandy and Don Goodman in memory of Sandy's father, Simon E. Rubin, Henry and Stephanie Hirsch in memory of Irving Hirsch, and Mary Jane Rochelson and Joel Mintz in memory of all four of their grandmothers, Henya, Masha, Matilda, and Anna. Thank you all. It's wonderful when you're able to help us continue doing the work that we do by sponsoring our services. Just a reminder for people, it sits there every Shabbat, but it's good to remind people that there are opportunities for you to learn and grow. Our mission as a synagogue is to nurture fuller Jewish life, and so one of the ways we do that is by studying and learning and teaching, and that we have on a weekly basis, every Saturday morning at 9 o'clock, online Shabbat Torah study. You need no previous knowledge. You're not going to get called on unless you want to, or unless I know that you want to. And it's a wonderful chance for you just to learn. Talmud study happens on the first and third Thursdays of the month, so that's coming up in a couple of weeks. So lots of opportunities for you to study. Of course, wait, I'm moving over to, let's get Cantor. Cantor, you want to do? I'm
in camera now, yeah. So, yeah, this is really a great event that is coming up, and it's a mix of having the opportunity to meet a real artist who just won last year a Grammy Award for her last album, in a way that this is it's like an intimate concert. Meeting the artist really is going to be a wonderful opportunity to do that. And then that service, so that's the concert will be followed by a traditional hot service where we are going to change the mantles. So there is a great opportunity to have a wonderful evening all together, from music to tradition, and our choir is singing. There is no more that I would say. I think now that the back to school party is over, now you have to start to RSVP for this, because otherwise me or Susan get a bit nervous. So I want to see really all of you coming up on the list, and be sure that we are all part of this wonderful experience. And then the following day, on the 18th, we're going to have this concert outdoors where Johnny Leeds is going to come with the band, singing for families, young families, and young at heart. Everyone is welcome, and it's going to be also a great music altogether.
So that entire weekend, 16th, 17th, and 18th, come Friday night, Saturday night, and Sunday afternoon. We hope you will join us. Just a reminder, if you're interested in the Federation Israel Mega Mission, that will be happening in end of April. You can find that information on that at jewishmiami.org. I think we are going to conclude with something particularly, shall we say, appropriate, which is the very words that Herzl gave to us. Im tirtzu ein zo agada. If you will, it is no dream to be a free people in our land of Zion and Jerusalem. Im tirtzu, you can find it on page 644.
And if these words somehow feel familiar to you, it's because these are the words that we sing also on the Hatikvah. They are so powerful. It's a message so powerful that has been included in the Hatikvah. Im tirtzu ein zo agada, ein zo agada yavarabarai, liyotam chofshi be'artzeinu be'eretz Zion Yerushalayim. Wait a minute, Rabbi. I need your help.
Okay.
Because you know what the drill is. You've been to Jewish camp here. Be'eretz. Yeah, that's what I need. Okay, so
I'm ready.
You follow Rabbi's lead and you do Eretz, Eretz,
Eretz,
Zion,
Zion,
Yerushalayim, tirtzu, ein zo agada, yavarabarai, liyotam chofshi be'artzeinu,
Eretz, Zion,
Yerushalayim, tirtzu, ein zo agada, yavarabarai, liyotam chofshi be'artzeinu, be'eretz, Zion, Yerushalayim.
Invite you to rise for Kiddush and Motzi.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, אשר קידשנו במצוותיו ורצה בנו בשבת קודשו ואהבה וברצון הנחילנו זיכרון למעשה בראשית, כי הוא יום תחילה למקראי קודש, זכר ליציאת מצרים. כי באנו בחרת ואותנו קידשת מכל העמים בשבת קודשך באהבה וברצון הנחלתנו. ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת. אמן.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen. Shabbat shalom.